What's happening YouTube? So once again, we face against the Houston Rockets, which is what's good with these back-to-backs, man. What's good with it, man? Like literally within 2 weeks, we faced the Houston Rockets 4 times, and then we faced the Los Angeles Lakers once again on Thursday night. Let's hope we beat them. But first of all, let's just talk about this game. So essentially, the first quarter and the second quarter, it was pretty fairly competitive. The Clippers actually kind of played a little bit sloppy a bit in the second half. Third half, we kind of we that's when we pretty much solidify our win. And then the fourth quarter, we pretty much just we pretty much just stomped the bug essentially. We just pretty much took over and we won in a traditional good blowout, like how good teams usually do against bad teams. So let's just say that. So I'm gonna go player by player, like how I usually do, and then first of all, the man himself, Ivica Zubac, he he essentially did what he normally does to the Rockets. He pretty much just dominated. He dropped 22 points. He was a kind of like a force against the Rockets, especially Christian Wood, because Christian Wood, he's more on the skinny type of spectrum. So Zubac, he pretty much had his really good strength and all that, and then made made some nice post moves, hook shots, and all that. Got some really nice, amazing dunks and all that. Just essentially did his thing. Like I shouldn't really say he did his thing because he did really good. He really did good. But let's just hope he definitely dominates the Lakers on Thursday, and let's just hope he shows up because Zubac, he's on a steady improvement, and we definitely have to give him the props where it's due. And I know a lot of y'all are, and that's a really good thing because Zubac, man, like literally just like a month or two ago, Zubac was literally like it was like a radical split. There's a side who supported Zubac. There's a side who disliked Zubac with a burning passion because he cannot really shoot threes. He's just like traditional big man. He's not like he does not shoot threes like he's Karl Anthony Towns or Jonas Valanciunas or Joel Embiid. He's not like insanely like athletic or quick, okay, like Embiid. He's just like a traditional big, but he drastically improved, and that's one big plus that Zubac has been doing, especially after when he faced against Luka, like the second matchup. It was just it's just nothing but good improvement. I'll just say that. And then next one we got the man Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson, he did pretty good. Got buckets as usual. Dropped 17 points. Just doing typical Reggie Jackson things. He definitely calmed down on the turnovers, that's what I like a lot, and that's what Reggie Jackson can definitely improve on is working on the turnovers, and he essentially pretty much just did that. He got aggressive, drive to the rack, just get his layups. He pretty much did Mr. June things. And then you got Nick Batum. Now Nick Batum is actually in a pretty interesting situation because Nick Batum for the past week, 3 weeks, he's been on a little bit of a cold slump. Like he has not been producing the biggest numbers. Like he's not on the like a big. Well, how can I phrase it? Like he's not like not one of the big highlights and all of that. He's been pretty quiet lately, but I mean, his stat sheet does not look like the most perfect thing ever. Like he shot 2 for 7 tonight, but I mean, he's not bad. I mean, of course, like his stats kind of look bad, and it can be a little bit disappointing. But we essentially won, so I guess I can't really complain too much. But yeah, Batum, like hopefully, like low key, Batum is probably gonna be the next guy who goes off against the Lakers on Thursday. So if Nick Batum goes off against the Lakers on Thursday, just remember this statement because Like, yeah, I have a feeling Batum's up next because it's long overdue that Batum he goes off because he's on a little bit of a, I just say like a little bit of a slump. And Terrence Mann, he's been pretty good for the Clippers, especially like for the past month, essentially because due to his really good grit, his really good hustle, got 11 points, just does blue collar things that we would really love to see. And not really much else to say other than he just did his thing. He did pretty good, showing that he's definitely like a big, you know, a glue guy that any other teams would definitely have. The Lakers could definitely use a guy like Terrence Mann. Like I'm sure they would commit violence to get a guy like Terrence Mann. But I'm just using it as an example. I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm just throwing out an example. And then you got pretty much who can we go next? Let's just say Marcus Morris. Now Muck, he just did typical Muck things. Just swish some corner threes. Well, I don't know about corner threes, but just typical threes in general. He has his nice sweet mid range. He even swished that one beautiful three against, I believe it was Jayshawn Tate who jumped a little too close to Marcus Morris, and then Marcus Morris just drilled it, and whew, that was pretty. That was kind of like a highlight. That was pretty nice. That was like a kind of like a highlight play, like honestly. And Morris, he's been spectacular. Like despite him having a really big fat slump in the beginning of the season, apparently due to because he had a knee injury still, but now Morris for the past 2-3 months, he's been a beast. He's been nothing but a beast. Just your ideal enforcer because he can shoot it. He can play defense. He can kind of grab boards. He can post up in the paint. He has that nice versatility that we all look that any team will love, and he's a really good veteran to have on a team. And then now let's just talk about the second unit. You got Luke Canard, who is unfortunately he was actually pretty off this game. He only had like I forgot like no more than 5 points if I could recollect. He didn't really take much shots, but like one thing that Luke Canard did show though that he's showing that he could definitely play make. So he's showing other sides. Like he's not just showing that he's just a shooter and all that because Luke Canard has some pretty nice dimes, and that's a big plus that Luke Canard is spreading his wings. Like he's getting more versatile, and he even shows that he's capable of playing pretty solid defense, especially like from a guy like Luke Canard. That's a huge plus. That's a huge plus. And then Amir Coffey, he did pretty good. Got some really nice crafty layups. Just did good all around defense, rebound, passing. Pretty versatile. I'm glad Amir Coffey proved me wrong. And the best part about this game is my man, finally, Tyronn Lue actually played Brandon Boston good minutes. And Brandon Boston, he did not disappoint. He dropped 11 points. He was really crafty. He got to the rim, switched some mid range, and also did all around things. But Brandon Boston is just smooth, and he even shook that one player too. I forgot. I think Matthews kind of crossed Matthews, and he just drilled it. Like Tyronn Lue seriously needs to play Brandon Boston Jr. in 1 minute because one, he's definitely going to be a superstar. Two, you want to prevent an injury. You do not want to. Like give big, heavy load minutes to the vets and then, not give any to young talent because you don't want to be like in a Derrick Rose situation that your key players got hurt and then things just go all they're just gonna go all south. You know what I mean? Like you gotta try to utilize everybody because especially with the Clippers, like you already have Kawhi and Paul George, they're out. Norman is out. pretty key pieces. So you want to try to do your best to prevent an injury. And one thing, and the perfect thing is playing young talent, because you do not want to see young talent get wasted, because like one day, like you do not like if Brandon Boston Jr., for example, wears another uniform to the Clippers, it's just going to be a big travesty, because he's going to be their franchise player. It's just guaranteed, which is I'm trusting. I know the Clippers will not do that, because the Clippers gave him like the biggest contract in second round history. So I trust uh, Lawrence Frank that he's not going to be that dumb to give up Brandon Boston Jr. And that's a really good thing that Tyronn Lue did tonight. And Tyronn Lue, like, he needs to keep doing this. Like, if not every game, at least do it like every other games when we play like actually like really bad teams like the Pistons, the Magic, the Rockets, or the Thunders. Like, especially, definitely give minutes to Brandon Boston Jr. because, or even just every game in general, honestly. Like, even when we play like top tier contenders, like give Brandon Boston Jr. the minutes. Like, yes, I know he's inefficient, but it's part of the game. Like, I mean, I'm sure if you give Kobe like a really limited minutes, I don't think he would produce as well. Because I'm not trying to say Brandon Boston Jr. is good as Kobe, but I'm just using a an analogy, if you know what I mean. Like, just give Brandon Boston Jr. his minutes, because it's not like he plays bad defense. If anything, he plays like actually great defense, and on the other side, he's just a certified assassin. Like, he's like kind of like the way how he moves and how he gets his buckets. It's definitely like a Tracy McGrady. Low key, another comparison just flew through my head that I want to give a comparison to Brandon Boston Jr. is honestly kind of like a DeMar DeRozan, because let me tell you why. They both have the same size, and they both love the mid range, and the way how they get their buckets is kind of similar. And DeMar, like at least like in the beginning, like he would shoot fairly inefficient or something like that. Shout out to DeMar. He's been balling out really good. But what do you think about the Brandon Boston Jr. DeMar DeRozan comparison? Do you agree with it or do you disagree with it? But Tracy McGrady, in my opinion, is like the perfect comparison about Brandon Boston Jr. But anyways, enough me a little bit of raving about Brandon Boston Jr. Like, who else could I possibly talk about? You got Isaiah Hartenstein, who did pretty solid. Well, he didn't really do too much actually, but he did pretty solid. And he attempted another three. Of course, didn't go in, but we like to see Hartenstein attempt to expand his range and all of that. And then let's just talk about the Rockets a little bit. They got Jae'Sean Tate, who's honestly like the Rockets, like a really gritty player for the Rockets, and Rockets are pretty much in good hands. If Jae'Sean Tate goes to another team, I think they would definitely, especially a contender, they would definitely benefit from a guy like Jae'Sean Tate, because he's a really, like from what I've seen, he's a pretty gritty player. And they also got Jalen Green there, who's probably going to be their franchise player. Did solid, had 20 points. He shot pretty inefficient, but it's part of the game, I guess. And then you got, who else? Christian Wood, who pretty much coincidentally did not want to really go into the paint as often. He pretty much shot more threes, and looks like it worked out pretty good for him because he dropped like 19 points. And then you got, who else? I mean, that's pretty much I could really like say, to be honest. Like, I don't remember. I don't know what else could I pretty much talk about other than those three players, but all the other players, they did pretty solid. I mean, Dennis Schroeder, he didn't really do too much, but looks like he got like a little ankle tweak or something like that. Hopefully he gets better, which is, I think he seemed to be okay, and that's a really good thing. But anyways, let me just wrap up this video. Just be sure to let me know what you think about this video, and be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll try to get with y'all in the comment section. And also, let's beat the Lakers on Thursday night, like 2 days before my birthday. on because versus the Lakers going on March 3rd, and then the 5th Saturday is going to be my birthday. So, but anyways, like this should just definitely wrap up the video. Just like I said, leave a comment down below, and I'm gonna be sure to get with y'all. And as y'all know, have a great night.